Second lesson. Some householders are of clean habits, and the mendicants, because they never bathe, are covered with uncleanliness, they smell after it, they smell badly, they are disagreeable, they are loathsome. Hence, the householders, with regard to the mendicant, put off some work which otherwise they would have done before, and do some work which otherwise they would have put off. Hence it has been said to the mendicant, and see. Page 125. That he should not use, for religious postures, and c. a lodging used by the householder. 1. This is the reason, while a mendicant lives together with householders, the householder might, for his own sake, have prepared something to eat. Then, afterwards, he might, for the sake of the mendicant, prepare or dress food, and c. and the mendicant might desire to eat or drink or swallow it. Hence it has been said to the mendicant, and see above. 2. This is the reason, while the mendicant lives together with a householder, there may be ready wood cleft for the use of the householder. Then, afterwards, the householder might, for the sake of the mendicant, cleave or buy or steal wood, kindle or light, by rubbing wood on wood, the fire body, and the mendicant might desire to dry or warm himself at, or enjoy, the fire. Hence it has been said to the mendicant, and see above. 3. When in the night or twilight a mendicant, to ease nature, leaves the door open, a thief, watching for an occasion, might enter. It is not meet for the mendicant to say, this thief enters or does not enter, he hides himself or does not hide himself, he creeps in or does not creep in, he speaks or does not speak, he has taken it, another has taken it, it is taken from that man, this is the thief, this is the accomplice, this is the murderer, he has done so. 1. The householder will suspect the ascetic, the mendicant. Page 126. Who is not a thief, to be the thief. Hence it has been said to the mendicant, and c. 4. A monk or a nun should not use, for religious postures, and c. sheds of grass or straw which contain eggs, living beings, and c. But they may do so if they contain few eggs, few living beings, and c. 5. A mendicant should not stay in halting places, garden houses, family houses, monasteries, where many fellow ascetics are frequently arriving. 1. If the reverend persons continue to live in those places after staying there for a month, one in the hot or cold seasons or for the rainy season, he should say, O long-lived one, you sinned by overstaying the fixed time. 6. 2. If the reverend persons repeatedly live in halting places, and c. after staying there for the proper time, without passing 2 or 3 intermediate months somewhere else, he should say, O long-lived one, you sin by repeating your retreat in the same place. 7. 3. Here, in the east, west, north, or south, there are, forsooth, some faithful householders, householders' wives, and c. who are not well acquainted with the rules of monastic life, with regard to the fitness of lodging places. Nevertheless they believe in, perceive, are convinced of, the merit of, giving lodging to mendicants. They, accordingly, give lodging places for the sake of many sramanas and brahmanas, guests, paupers, and beggars, in workshops, chapels, temples, assembly halls, wells, houses or halls for shopkeeping or for keeping or building carriages, distilleries, houses where darbar grass. Page 127. Bark, trees, wood or charcoal are being worked, houses on burial places, rooms for retirement near the place of sacrifice. 1. Empty houses, hill houses, caves, stone houses, or palaces. He should say to those reverend persons who live in such like places as workshops, and c. together with other guests, O long-lived one, you sin by living in a place frequented by other sectarians. 8. 4. Here, in the east, and c. They accordingly give, and c. all as in section 8 down to, palaces. If the mendicants come there while the other religious men do not come there, they sin by living in a place not frequented by other mendicants. 9. 5. In the east, west, north, or south there are faithful householders, viz. a householder or his wife, and c. who will speak thus. It is not meet that these illustrious, pious, virtuous, eloquent, controlled, chaste ascetics, who have ceased from sexual intercourse, should dwell in a lodging which is atakarmika 2, let us give to the mendicants the lodgings which are ready for our use, viz. workshops, and c. And let us, afterwards, prepare lodgings for our own use, viz. workshops, and c. Hearing and perceiving such talk, if the reverend persons frequent such like lodgings, viz. workshops, and c. and live in them which are seated by other people, they should be warned, O long-lived one, that lodging is infected by the sin called Vargakriya. 10. 6. Here, in the East, and see section 8 all down to, they give lodging places for the sake of many Sramanas and Brahmanas, guests, paupers, and beggars, after having well counted them, in workshops, and see. Page 128. Paragraph continues, if the reverend persons frequent such like lodgings, viz. workshops, and see. and live in them which are seated by other people, they should be warned, O long-lived one, that lodging is infected by the sin called Mahavargakriya. 11. 7. Here, in the East, and see. They accordingly give, for the sake of many sorts of Sramanas one, after having well counted them, lodging places, viz. workshops, and see. If the reverend persons frequent such like lodgings, viz. workshops, and see. and live in them which are seated by other people, they should be warned, O long-lived one, that lodging is infected by the sin called Savadayakriya. 12. 8. Here, in the East, and see. They accordingly prepare, for the sake of one sort of Sramanas, lodgings, viz. workshops, and see, for which purpose great injury is done to the earth, water, fire, wind bodies, plants, and animals, great injury, great cruelty, great and manifold sinful acts, by wasting cold water or strewing the ground, smearing it with cow dung, shutting the doors and securing the bed, lighting a fire. If the reverend persons frequent such like lodgings, viz. workshops, and see. and lead in such seated lodgings an ambiguous to life, they should be warned, O long-lived one, that lodging is infected by the sin called Mahasavadayakriya. Is 9. But if the lodgings, viz. workshops, and see. are. Page 129. Prepared by the householders for their own sake under the same circumstances as detailed in the preceding paragraph, and the reverend persons frequent such like lodgings, they lead, in those lodgings, an unambiguous life. O long-lived one, that lodging is infected by the very small sin called Alpasavadayakriya. This is the whole duty, and see. Thus I say. 14. Footnotes 125:1 For if he gives warning of the thief, the warner or the thief might be slain, but if he gives no warning, no life will be lost, though the mendicant's integrity may be doubted. 126:1 Or any fixed period, which the mendicant has vowed not to exceed staying in one place. 127:1 Santigriha. 127:2 See note 5 on page 81. 128:1 There are 5 sorts of sramanas enumerated in the following hemistich, which occurs not only in Slaka's commentary, but also in that of the Akaranga Sutra, as Dr. Luman informs me, Nigantha, Saka, Tavasa, Jarua, Ajiva Pamkaha Samama. Nirgranthas, Sakyas, Tapasas, Garikas, Ajavakas. 128:2 Dupakam, T, Savamti, lit. Use twofold work. The meaning is, according to the commentary, that they act like householders, though they make a show of monastic life.